In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to start your own mobile IV hydration business. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Gabriel Abrams. I'm the CEO of Elite Mobile IV. We're one of the fastest growing mobile IV businesses in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee. So I know a thing or two about the mobile IV business, and I'm more than happy to share it with all of you. And if it's something you're interested in doing, I highly encourage you to go out there and try it for yourself because it really is a fantastic business model and it's a lot of fun and you truly make a difference in your local communities. And if you discover that, the entrepreneurship journey isn't for you and you're still a nurse and you still want to get involved, you can always join an already existing mobile IV business and get pretty much all the same benefits. So let's talk about how you're going to get started with this. The number one thing when you're getting into any kind of business is before you even think about how you're going to do it, you need to start with why you're going to do it. Because if you don't have a strong enough why, it's going to be very difficult to persevere through it because it's not going to be easy. You're not going to be an overnight success. It does take time to get where you want to be. So you really need to have a strong foundation in why are you starting mobile IVs. A little bit of background on myself, my story. I'm not going to get too much into the details, but just to keep it very simple for this video, I was a nurse working level 1 trauma center, ER, and I was just working 12 hours a day, 3 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week. I was on call. They were flipping me from days to nights. It was a lot of work, and you're kind of just capped. You're getting paid hourly. I have a different kind of fire in my system where I don't like working for other people. I want to do something for myself. The ER, it was a great place to start, but at the end of the day, having a boss just kind of sucks. So I got into the mobile IV business. I was introduced to it, and ever since then, I've never looked back. I never thought for one second that I want to go back and work in the hospital. You may have a different story. You may be an entrepreneur with no medical background wanting to do this. You may be a doctor who doesn't know how to do IVs, but you know how to make the protocols or know how to make the systems or things like that. You may just be an entrepreneur and just want to do something. Or you could be a nurse. You could be a nurse just like me and just thinking that, hey, I can take the same skill set I learned in the ER and do it for my local community and make something out of it. So there's many different reasons why people get involved. And truly, you're going to find everybody in the space. You're going to find doctors, you're going to find entrepreneurs, and you're going to find nurses. So just because you're not a nurse or you don't know how to do IVs or anything like that doesn't mean you can't do mobile IVs or can't at least start this kind of business. So where are you going to start? Well, the first thing is going to be the business structure. So this is something where it really just depends on the state. You may need an LLC, you may need a PLLC. Honestly, it really just depends on the state. There's really no benefits or differences to either or, but you need to make sure that you're legally structured properly. If this was any other business, like if you were just reselling stuff or doing some retail or selling an online course, I would say screw all the legal stuff. Just go make some money and then worry about legal later. But because we're in the medical industry, there are really high standards and you don't want to do anything that's going to compromise you. So definitely start with a solid business structure. And to this, I'm just going to tell you, find a great healthcare attorney, pay a little bit of money for it and just have them set you up properly because you have to consider a few different things. You may not be legally allowed to own the business and you may have to set something up called an MSO, or you may be allowed to own the business, but you have to have a medical director or things of that nature. You really just need to talk to a healthcare attorney. Don't comment down below what are the legal requirements in this state, because I'm not going to be able to tell you guys. You need to just do some research on Google, find a healthcare attorney. They're going to tell you all the rules and set you up properly. You can also talk to the boards and they're going to give you their opinions, I guess, but you need to figure it out. But once you have that business structure set up, I would also recommend finding a CPA as well. This is something you can maybe push down the road a little bit, but when you get into business, you're probably going to make a lot of money if you do it right. if you listen to me, you're going to make a lot of money. And you want to make sure you don't get hit with a huge freaking tax bill, okay? Because obviously that would just suck. And if you're paying an absorbent amount of taxes, you're probably not doing something right. So get yourself a good healthcare attorney. It's going to keep you out of jail. It's going to keep the whole system legal. And then get yourself a good CPA so that you can actually keep the money that you make. The other thing that you want to do is you need a medical director, okay? If you worked in the hospital, if you worked in the ER, you probably know 20-something different docs. Talk to them. Just say, hey, I'm looking about doing this kind of business. strike up a deal with them. Maybe you can pay them some kind of monthly flat rate. Maybe they want to partner with you on the business, which I would advise some caution with. I know some nurses that just straight up give up 50% of the business for a medical director. I would say if you can go into this solo, I would do it solo. I mean, some people have different opinions on this. Should I go solo or should I partner? I prefer the solo route just because it's hard to work with other people. For me at least, I need to be in control of every little aspect and then just delegate as needed. But if you're going to go in with a partner, just understand that, hey, it's going to be a marriage, and sometimes marriages can end ugly. It can end in a bad divorce. So just choose your partner carefully if you do that. But typically with a medical director, you can find someone, strike up a deal, pay them a flat rate. I don't recommend giving them a percentage of your business, because maybe in the beginning you're only making a few $1,000s, whatever, a few percent, whatever. But if you stick with this long enough, you're probably going to be making millions. And for just someone to sign off on a few charts, it's not worth paying what you'll probably end up having to pay. And then if you ever sell the business, I mean, yes, they helped you start it, but you're the one doing all the work. So just be careful with that. I think the bottom line here is just find a medical director. Okay. We don't need to get into the nitty gritty. Find a medical director. They're going to help you with all the protocols. They're going to help create all the accounts so that you can order supplies. They're going to review charts if they need to. They're going to, basically provide the medical direction. So find someone. If you're a nurse, talk to your doctors. There's also third parties. You can find companies and they'll give you a medical director. Yeah, you're going to have to pay for it. Yeah, it's going to be a few $1,000s, but it's a pretty easy solution. And a lot of times there's not a lot of strings attached, and you can just replace them if you need to. So not a bad idea. The other thing is getting supplies. You're going to need supplies for this business, and the supplies can be challenging to get at times. This is not like you go to Amazon and you buy everything you need. No, you need accounts set up through a physician who's registered with your business. You need your medical director to set you up with accounts so that you can buy these supplies. Go to Google, find some suppliers, negotiate prices. Like seriously, the prices are negotiable. You should be negotiating these prices. Establish a good connection with your sales rep. You need them on speed dial. And then once you have your account set up, order supplies. And my recommendation is order a lot of supplies. Saline is good for not several years, but it's good for a few years, and you're going to use it. And they like to do random shortages. Just my piece of advice is, why not just fill up a room with boxes of saline, just so you have it, and IVs. IVs last forever. So get yourself some supplies. Don't be afraid to get too much supplies, because you're going to use it and your whole operation is shut down if you ever can't buy supplies for some reason. So definitely make some connections with suppliers. Definitely get multiple accounts. Just because you have one supplier, don't stop there. I have multiple accounts. Like you should have multiple ways to buy the things that you need. And then with vitamins, if you're doing vitamins, find a good vitamin company. Don't just get it from any vitamin company. Make sure that there's 503B and this. Like, make sure that you're getting ones that you don't have to, that are not patient specific, unless that's what you're trying to lean in towards. But generally you want something that you can do for office use and give it to any patient. So just make sure that you're getting the right vitamins. Make sure that it's a reputable vitamin company. You don't want something that's not FDA approved or not made in the right compounding pharmacy or whatever. Just make sure you're working with legit suppliers, because these are things that are going into people's body. Like, don't order things that you wouldn't put in yourself. Okay. Okay. So once you got your supplies, you're going to need to start hiring nurses. Now, when I started this business, I'm a nurse. I was working with a nurse practitioner and medical director. I was doing all the work in the beginning. Like, it was pretty much just me doing all the IVs. But as you'll come to find out, you can't teleport. You're going to need a team. In fact, eventually, as you're operating the business, you're not really going to have the time or the energy to do every single mobile IV anymore. You need to hire nurses, especially if you're the business guy or gal and you're not a nurse or you can't do IVs. Then you need to hire nurses. Now, there's two different models that actually, there's so many different models. I'm not even going to bring it down to two different models, but you need to hire nurses, and there's going to be a couple of different arrangements that you can work out with them. They're typically going to be 1099 contractors, so they're going to be responsible for their own things. Some clinics, the nurses, they buy their own supplies and they use that and they earn commission. Sometimes sometimes the company will buy supplies for all the nurses and distribute them. Nurses can be paid in commission, they can be paid a flat rate, they can be paid hourly. It really just depends on your model. My preference is either commission or flat rate, because you're incentivizing nurses to work. And I also recommend that if the nurses are able to buy and store their own IV supplies, that they should. I know they should, because what it's doing is incentivizing nurses to see clients and to work, and they're going to be rewarded for their efforts. This can be a lucrative career for nurses, especially when you set it up right. So you want to make sure that these nurses are in it for the long haul, and that that they're motivated to keep seeing clients, and getting them on memberships or selling packages or whatever it is that you may offer. But you want to make sure your nurses are motivated to work, and that you work with the right nurses. Guys, I can tell you horror stories, not in my business, but in other businesses. But I can tell you mistakes that even I made in my business when hiring nurses. Like, just don't hire crazy people, okay? Like get information. Like, you need all of their information on hand. Like, get their driver's license, get their RN license, get information from them, call their references, like, especially in the beginning. Like, make sure you're hiring people that you really want to work with. Don't just hire anybody that says they're going to do it. Like, take some time hiring, but you want to get a team, and you want a big team. I'd get as many nurses as you can, because as you scale the clinic, you're gonna need all of them. I think that's enough said on the hiring part, right? If you have any questions about hiring nurses or how to do it, or if you want to hear some horror stories, just comment down below. I will make another video on it. Okay, now let's get to some more of the fun stuff. Website marketing, let's talk about that. So how are you going to make your website? When I first started, guys, I hopped on Wix and I made a website, and it works. And it's $30-something a month. That's what I would do, honestly. You don't need to shell out $1,500 or $10,000 for a website. At least in the beginning, not then. I would just go to Wix and make a website. Now, let's say you're not tech savvy. Let's say you have some startup capital. Then just hire someone to make a website. But make sure you work with someone like good, decent, ideally someone who has done it for mobile IV companies. If you're like, well, who do I hire? Go to any mobile IV company. You scroll down to the footer. They're going to tell you who their marketer is, because the marketer is always they're going to tag themselves. So just look and see who are the other people using, and just use them. And you're typically going to have decent results. I wouldn't recommend paying more than, don't pay more than $3,000 for a website. In fact, I wouldn't even pay that much. You can do a website cheaper. Once you start getting some money in the door, yeah, it's worth upgrading the website, because it's going to help with your conversions. But when you're starting, just do it on a budget, okay? You don't need a crazy budget to start this kind of business. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about some financials, so stay tuned for that. But get a website. The big thing with the website, though, is that you have a really good landing page. Like, people can look at it, know what they're looking at, that you can establish trust. There needs to be an about page, like, who's showing up to my house, who's the medical director, like, who's taking care of me. But also, more importantly, you need a seamless booking system. Like, it should be so easy for people to book that they can do it with their eyes closed. That someone's old grandma who can't see or use a computer can still figure out how to book. You need a seamless booking system. I cannot stress that enough. If it's difficult to book, or it's hard to book, or you don't have time slots available, people aren't going to book. So make it easy for them to, A, get in contact with you, and B, to book appointments. Okay? So that's stuff about the website. Advertising and marketing. I could spend forever talking about this, because there's so much involved here. Now, this is the most important part of your business, because this is what's going to drive revenue. And without revenue, without cash flow, you don't have a business. So you really need to get the marketing right. You can do a lot of the marketing yourself. You will be surprised with how much you can do yourself. I did, for the whole first year of the business, all the marketing myself. And once I was making enough money, I hired people better than me to do it. Now, if you're not good with marketing and you don't have the time to learn how to do marketing, or you just can't do it, which is true. Some people just, for life of them, cannot do marketing. But if you want to be ahead of the others, I would recommend learning it. I spent a lot of time learning marketing. Like, probably the first year of the business was me just learning how to do all this. Get an agency, but don't just hire any marketer. Don't just hire the first marketer that pops up on Google. Don't just hire the first marketer that you see on Facebook. Like, figure out who's marketing for these other mobile IV companies that are successful. Find companies that you like, that have great marketing, and figure out who does it for them. and hire them. That's like some game-changing secrets I'm telling you guys. Like, figure out who's doing the marketing and hire them. And if they won't work with you or they're too expensive, which both could be true, just keep looking. You're going to find someone. But in terms of what you need to do for marketing, because you can do this yourself, mind you, Google Ads. Number one, you're going to want to run Google Ads. So what Google Ads are doing is they are ranking your business or your website number one on Google, or at least they're putting you up there on those sponsored links. So the way that it works is you set a daily budget, and Google is going to spend that money to get people to click. And every time someone clicks on your link, you're going to pay that cost per click. Now, this can range anywhere from a few dollars to over $10. Typically in this industry, you're probably paying anywhere from like $3 to $15 a click. And the idea is you want to get that cost per click down, or at least get your cost per conversion down. Like, okay, how many clicks equals a sale? And you want to make sure you can get that down over time. You're going to do that through keyword targeting. You're going to be optimizing your Google Ads. You're going to be optimizing your phone calls, everything. And that's going to help you get that cost down. But you do need to start running Google Ads. That's what's going to instantly start bringing you in business. Don't be afraid to spend on Google Ads. Just do it right, and it's going to work. You should at least be breaking even on the ads. So don't be afraid to spend money. My recommendation, if you start paid advertising, is to spend at least $100 a day starting out. Now, I know that may sound like a lot of money. In the grand scheme of things, you'll find out that that's quite literally nothing. But when you're starting out, $100 a day can seem quite intimidating. It can seem a little scary, but you need to do it. So if you need to work another job to get some money, or if you need to go through some of your savings, that's okay. Just know that the Google Ads do work when you do it right, and you have to spend on them. I don't know any mobile IV business that's successful that doesn't spend multiple thousands of dollars a day on Google Ads. So get your Google Ads right. Facebook ads. Facebook ads do work. I would do this a little later, or I would start with a very low budget with doing Facebook ads. You mostly want to do brand awareness and get some leads, but typically in my experience, the Facebook ads won't convert as well as the Google ads. Google ads is just going to start bringing you in money. Facebook ads, they're going to pay off in the long term. So ideally you want to do both. What's also great about the Facebook ads is you can use them to retarget. So someone checked out your website, they didn't buy, now they're scrolling Instagram and they're seeing you. So you can use Facebook and the Instagram ads, the meta ads, to kind of do some mind control in the background to get people to start trusting your business and to start booking appointments with you. So you should do both. It's going to help you. Upload on social media. This is one thing I've really slacked on, but I'm making this video now because I don't want to slack on it anymore. The uploading on social media, it's not going to have an immediate return. Like if I go to Instagram and start uploading videos, it's probably not going to equal direct dollars, but in the long term, it can equal more money than whatever you could generate through Google ads and Facebook ads. Like if you can build a big enough following and get your target audience to like watch your videos and be a part of your community, then you're gonna do really well. So if you're starting this business and you have a big social media following that is local and qualified for your services, you're gonna do very, very well. You may not even need to run paid ads, but definitely post on social media. There's no reason why you shouldn't post on social media. Like you should be making videos, you should be posting videos, you should be educating others, you should be educating your clients. And I will say with social media, it's important as well, because what people are doing when they go to your website is they're looking, because this is medical, right? Like people aren't just, they're not just buying random things on the internet. They are buying a medical service and they want to make sure that it's reputable, especially when someone's coming to their home to inject them with something, right? So post on social media. What you're going to find is people, they're going to go to your website and then they're going to go to your Instagram or your YouTube or your TikTok and they'll be like, is this real? Are they posting? And they want to see faces. They want to know who's doing this. So post on social media. All right. And then events. Events are great. In my personal experience, I don't find them to have a really great ROI unless they're like prepaid events, but you should be at events, because one of the greatest ways to get out there is to talk to people face to face, like not digitally or on the phone. Like if you want to develop real connections with people and get your most loyal customers, you need to meet them face to face. And that's partly why mobile IVs is such a great business, because what you're doing is you're interacting with real people, like face to face, making them feel better. And it's going to build a lot of trust. And they're going to be like, oh, every time I call Gabriel, he's going to take care of me. And that's the same kind of relationship that you want. You want to know that Like people want to know that when they call you, you're going to take care of them, and when they meet you in person, you can share the energy with them. They're going to feel that, and they're going to trust you much more. So go to events, sell IVs. I would even recommend giving out free IVs. I think that's a great idea. Give out free IVs, and I'll tell you why to do that here in a moment. Actually, I'll tell you that now. So when it comes to all this marketing, the number one thing, okay, so number one in the mobile IV business is safety. Okay, safety and compliance, make sure all that's good. Number two is get reviews. Like you need social proof. So get reviews on Google. We didn't even talk about Google Business. How can I not talk about that? Make a Google Business profile now. If you don't have a Google Business profile, forget all these other steps. Do that first. Make a Google Business profile because that's how people are going to find you on Google way before your website ever starts to rank. Make a Google Business profile, get reviews, do free IVs, doesn't matter. You need a bunch of 5-star reviews and you can never have enough. I'm not going to say any more about that. Just get a Google Business profile and get reviews. All right. SEO. Let's talk a little bit about SEO. A lot of people don't understand what SEO is. SEO stands for search engine optimization. Now, why do you need this? Because when people want to book mobile IV appointments, believe it or not, they're going to go to Google and they're going to type in mobile IV near me or mobile IV city, like whatever city they're in. You need to pop up in those search results because if you don't, they're not going to call you. So what search engine optimization is making sure that you are the one that pops up. Now, this is a slow, long, and can be a very expensive process. I would recommend investing into SEO. Even at the beginning. It's a long game. The sooner you start, the better, but you can do things for free. So how do you make sure that your SEO... Okay, hold up, guys. Don't go to some random SEO expert and pay them money to SEO optimize your website. If you don't understand what they're doing, then they're probably not doing anything. So yes, there are SEO experts who can help you, but you need to understand what they're doing for you. And you can do a lot of SEO yourself, all right? That Google Business profile with reviews, that's great. That's great SEO, okay? But the other things that you can do yourself is get your website, and you need to tell Google that you have authority. So how does Google know you have authority? They just need to see you in places, and it's called backlinks. How many websites, relevant websites, can you get to link back to your website? Which means, when, like for example, on Wikipedia, you go to Wikipedia, and they're going to link all these references. Those are backlinks. Now, Wikipedia does something called no-follow links, meaning that it doesn't pass on the link juice, quote unquote. But if some article, some news article or something posts about me and they link to my website, it's going to give me some link juice. And the more authoritative that website is, the more link juice my website's going to get. So what you want to do for easy SEO is what they're called citations. So local directories, start there. That could be like your Chamber of Commerce. This can be like Google Maps. This can be literally any directory you can find, and just make sure that you're there. Just put yourself in all of them. Like find 100 directories and put yourself in them, and make sure they link back to your website. That's a great foundation. It's free. It's easy to do. Spend a day doing that, and you're off to a great start. Later on, you're going to want to work on getting your website featured in different articles. There's multiple ways to do this. I may have to make a whole separate video on SEO, but there's free ways to do it where you're emailing them and asking them to link back to your website, or you're doing guest posts or things like that. And there's paid ways where you can basically buy links, and it's going to give you some link juice, and it's going to help. But we're going to talk about that in a separate video. But just know that SEO is very important for your business. Let's talk about charting in your EMR system. This really comes down to preference. So just find something you like. Just go to Google, type in EMR for mobile IV business, and see what pops up. There's some that I like. Really, they all are okay. Sometimes your booking software will offer an EMR. Guys, as long as it's HIPAA compliant, you can use it if you like. So find one that you like, use it. If you don't like it, find a different one. Just make sure you have an EMR. Like, you should be documenting things. Also about like charting and stuff, you want to make sure that you have all of your protocols written out. You need protocols, you need consent forms, you need 1099 contracts. Guys, your healthcare attorney is going to help you with that. Your medical director is going to help you with that. ChatGPT nowadays is going to help you with that. So just make sure you have all of that done and that you're following, all the things that you should be doing. And a lot of people get hung up there for some reason. A lot of people get hung up on what protocols do I need? How do I do the consent? Like, guys, that's the easiest part of the business. Like, just Google it. You can figure it out. The marketing you're going to find is going to be the most challenging part for you. But just talk to your medical director, talk to people, network, and you can get all these things that you need. I'm sure there's templates online. Just find stuff. Good faith exams. That's another interesting point. You need someone to actually like assess your patients. So you either need a doctor or a nurse practitioner to assess every patient before they get an IV therapy. Some states you can do standing orders, but they're kind of moving away from that. So more than likely you'll need someone to actually do a telehealth consultation with every patient before you stake them. So find someone who can do it. There are companies that can do it. Or you can team up with a local provider and have them do it for you. Just make sure that they're reliable, that they're responsive, they can do it on demand, and you can pay them per exam or you can pay them a flat rate, whatever you work out, but you need good faith exams or some kind of assessment before you do the IVs for somebody. And the last point I want to talk about here is reinvest into the business. When you're doing this business and you start making some money, I would not recommend cashing out. I would recommend taking all that money and reinvesting it into advertising, because the more you can put into advertising, the more money the business is going to make, the more nurses you can hire, the more states you can expand to. I guess it also depends on what your goals are with the business. I know some people that are solo practitioners, they just want to do mobile IVs, 5 days a week and just see 2 to 3 clients a day. That's fine. If you want to do that, then you can have a pretty lucrative thing going for you. But understand that you may not be able to grow the business as fast or as much as you'd like. But if you're trying to build a real business where you're not so much working in the weeds anymore, or you're trying to see 50 to 100 clients a day, then you really need to be reinvesting in advertising. Like, take the money, spend just enough on your lifestyle to where you can live comfortable. But like, don't go buy the Bugatti, don't go buy the Rolly. Like, take the money. Unfortunately, Google kind of owns everything, but buy some Google ads, buy some Facebook ads, do some collaborations, pay for the sponsorship, go to the events. You're going to find much more joy in reinvesting into your business than you are on stupid materialistic things. But that's really your personal preference. But I'm just speaking from what I've done. I take a lot of my money and I reinvest it into the business, because at the end of the day, the business is what's going to generate you money. Like, don't go buy stocks, don't go buy other stupid things. Like, just the business is going to be your revenue generator. So reinvest into the business. If you take care of the business, it's going to take care of you. So let's talk about some fun stuff like financials. How much money can you make with mobile IVs? Really, guys, you can make as much money as you want. I know people making some serious money doing this. So if you're a solo practitioner, I mean, you can make either $0 or you can make a couple $100,000 a year. There are people out. I know people personally making over $1 million a month. So you can make a lot of money in this. You can definitely make $100 million businesses doing mobile IV therapy, and it's still in the infancy phase, and it's only going to get bigger. But just understand, when you start out, it's going to be slow. It's okay if you're not instantly 6 figures. It's okay if you're not hitting 7-figure months in the beginning. But give it 4 years, guys. I'm telling you, start the business. Don't give up for 4 to 5 years. You're going to be making 6 figures, 7 figures a month eventually, and it can really change your life. So stick with it and really persevere. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely very doable. You can definitely build a really fantastic life with it. But yeah, guys, that's how you start a mobile IV business. If you guys have any questions about it, if you want to hear more about my personal story, how I got into it, or if you want to know some horror stories or fun stories, or just anything about mobile IVs, comment down below. Tell me what you want me to tell you guys. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible about certain things, and just share with you guys and teach you what I know about mobile IVs or business in general. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.